Good day and welcome back to our video tutorial grade 11 students. This is again Sir RJ Olarve and we're going to continue our discussion regarding the School of Rocks. So previously, you learned the first major type of rock, which is the igneous rock. And for today's video tutorial, we are going to continue and go with the two more major type of rock. And let us have the second type of rock, which is the sedimentary rocks. So sedimentary rocks are rocks that are formed from previously existing rocks that have been broken down into small particles or fragments called as the sediments. So take note of this, na ang sedimentary rocks daw ay nagmula sa previously existing rocks. And this previously existing rock can be a sedimentary rock. It could also be an igneous rock or a metamorphic rock, na yung metamorphic rock, sedimentary or igneous rock na yon have been broken down into small particles or fragments, and that small particles or fragment is called as sediments. And bakit nagkaroon ng sediments? That is because of the process called weathering and erosion. So weathering and erosion are exogenic processes, and also take note that these sedimentary rocks are the type of rock wherein we can find the fossils. And examples of these sedimentary rocks are sandstone, breccia, and the siltstone. And maybe you're wondering, paano nga ba nagbubuo itong sedimentary rocks given na nanggaling siya from a pre-existing rock that suddenly undergo the process of weathering and erosion, nagkaroon tayo ng sediments. Paano ba siya nabubuo? Okay, so we have here sedimentary rocks are formed through the following processes. So first we have the deposition, second is the cementation, and the third is the lithification. And let us discuss them one by one. So let's start with the deposition. So the deposition here, in this process, the sediments will be deposited into a specific area. And also this happens with the aid of the water, wind, ice, mass movement, or glacier. So take note here in the deposition, i-deposit lang yung mga sediments on a specific area, and dahil yan sa tulong ng water, wind, ice, mass movement, or glaciers. And the second process is what we call cementation. So after siyang ma-deposit sa specific na area, what will happen is that deposited materials will be compacted. And dahil magkakaroon niya ng compaction, so yung mga sediments is magiging dikit-dikit yan, okay, due to pressure at some point. And also, dahil dyan masasemento siya, at the same time, magkakaroon din ng mga layers doon sa specific na rock na yun. At kung titingnan mo din yung mga example ng sedimentary rocks, most of them ay merong parang mga layering. That is because of the process called cementation. And the last process is what we call lithification. So here, this process is wherein the materials will be transformed into rocks, and finally, from the word lithify, okay, magiging part na siya ng lithosphere natin, wherein yung specific rock na yun or sedimentary rock ay magiging parte na ng lithosphere. And here we have some of the examples of the sedimentary rocks. So we have the chert, the conglomerate, limestone, rock salt, shale, and the sandstone. And that is the sedimentary rock. And it is time for us to move with our last type of rock, which is the metamorphic rock. So metamorphic rock, from the word metamorph, which means change from, and it also came from the pre-existing rocks, and that pre-existing rocks are called parent rock, or on other terminologies we use the word protolith. Okay, and this protolith is the original and metamorphosed rock from which a given metamorphic rock is formed. Kasi nga change from, ibig sabihin may isang existing na bato na mag-undergo ng changes, magkakaroon tayo ng metamorphic rock dahil nag-undergo yung bato na yon ng changes. Unlike in the sedimentary, kailangan muna siyang maging sediments para ma-form siya into a sedimentary rock. This time in the metamorphic rock, no need to be a sediments or to become a sediment. Instead, you need to be exposed sa mga bagay na babanggitin ko mamaya kung paano nabubuo ang mga metamorphic rock. Pero take note of the word parent rock and protolith. And next, okay, yung parent rock na yun or the protolith will undergo a process called the metamorphism. And this metamorphism is a process of formation of parent rocks due to the following. It's either due to the heat, pressure, and introduction to chemically active fluids. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, hindi kailangan na maging sediments ka para maging metamorphic ka. Instead, kahit bato ka, tapos ma-expose ka lang into extreme heat and pressure or both, and also nagkaroon ng introduction ng chemically active fluids sa'yo. So, okay, so, mag-undergo na ng process tinatawag na metamorphism, and that will be also the time na yung isang pre-existing na rock na yun will be transformed into a metamorphic rock. Okay, and another thing, okay, metamorphic rocks are formed by subjecting any rock type. So yung sabi ko kanina, pwedeng sedimentary rock, igneous rock, and pwede rin siyang older or the parent metamorphic rock to the different temperature and pressure conditions than those in which the original rock was formed. And here we have pictures showing the different examples of metamorphic rocks. So we have the gneiss, the slate, the quartzite, the schist, the marble, and the phyllite. And those are the things that you need to learn about the metamorphic rocks. And just a recap about the three major types of rocks that we have discussed. So we have the first type, the igneous rocks. Second is the sedimentary rocks. And the third is the metamorphic rocks. And if you will notice, these major types of rocks can be transformed into another type of rock, and that is through the process, or that is explained in the process called rock cycle. So rock cycle, this explains and gives us the idea of how rock undergo continuous transformation from a specific rock going to another type of rock, or from its parent rock going to its metamorphosed rock, and that is through the rock cycle. And here we have the picture showing the rock cycle. So here we can see that let's start off with the sedimentary rock. So sedimentary rock can be transformed into a metamorphic rock if the sedimentary rock will be exposed into heat, pressure, or any chemical action. It will be transformed into a metamorphic rock. While on the other hand, this metamorphic rock, okay, if it underwent the process of melting, okay, metamorphic na siya, tapos nagmelt, kunwari siya, naging magma siya, it can be transformed into a igneous rock, provided that this metamorphic rock will undergo the process of solidification. Okay, and then kapag siya ay naging igneous na, magkakaroon tayo ng process of weathering and erosion. This igneous rock can be transformed into a sediments, small fragments, and magiging sediment siya. Tapos, si metamorphic naman, pwede rin niyang maging sedimentary in the process called weathering and erosion. Pag nag-undergo siya ng weathering and erosion, itong si metamorphic rock din is magiging sediments. Tapos, magkakaroon tayo ng sedimentary rocks provided na mag-undergo siya ng deposition, cementation, and lithification. And this igneous rock can also be transformed into a metamorphic if and only if this igneous rock as a parent rock will be exposed into extreme heat, pressure, and any chemical action. Okay, another thing pa ay si sedimentary rock pwede pa yung matransform into another type of sedimentary rock kapag nag-undergo din si sedimentary rock ng weathering and erosion, and siya mismo bilang sedimentary rock is magiging sediment, so pwede pa rin siyang maging isang panibagong sedimentary rock. Tapos si igneous rock naman, kapag nag-melt din siya, tapos nag-undergo siya ulit ng process of cooling and solidification, na solidified na siya, pwede ulit siyang maging panibagong igneous rock. And also, same thing goes with the metamorphic. Kapag din siya is na-expose pa siya sa another na level ng heat, pressure, and chemical action, pwede pa rin siya na maging another type or kind of metamorphic rock. And again, this is the rock cycle, which explains the concept and idea of how a specific rock can be transformed in 2A, another type of rock. So that ends our discussion regarding the School of Rocks. And as an ending quotation, I have here, sometimes we need to be like rocks, able to stand alone. Whether, di ba, sa buhay, kahit mapa-estudyante ka man or ano man yung status mo sa buhay, mahirap talaga. Pero sometimes nga kailangan natin maging isang matatag na rock na kayang tumayo kahit mag-isa na lang. Kayang ipagpatuloy ang laban kahit nag-iisa na lang. Pero again, na meron pa yung kasunod, but most of the time, you do not need to be like rocks that are able to stand alone. Because as the saying goes, no man is an island. Wala talagang kayang maging mag-isa. Yes, may mga battle na tayo mismo din sa sarili natin yung yung lalaban. Pero most of the time din, kailangan natin ng companion. And actually, we have companion. 'Di ba? You don't need to be like rocks na patuloy kang magiging alone because you have me, you have us, and most importantly, you have God. And as an end, na reminder ko sa inyo palagi in 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31 that when you eat or drink or do anything else, always do it to honor God. And if you have questions regarding the topic na aking na-discuss, so don't hesitate, no? Contact me, PM me at any of my social media accounts. And see you on our Zoom meeting this week. Goodbye, grade 11 students. God bless.